Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us syndicated on television. That's on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on the Newscasters.com. Proud to be affiliated with those folks because I can say what I want to say. It's not going to be anything dirty. It's just going to be like the truth, like the grit of stuff, the way things are. Continue sending emails, by the way, Donna@DonnasEdge.com, Donna@DonnasEdge.com. Continue watching us on all the social media sites as well, Facebook.com/D Thiesel is one of them. We're on X, we're on Rumble, we're on, if it's social media, we're doing it. So, but anyway, we appreciate you being with us. I got my friend Victoria Lee Scott with me right now, and she is you're the chief cook and bottle washer, your sales, your administration, you're like a ruler over everything with the Newscaster studio. How's everything going? You guys are growing still like gangbusters.
Yes, new studios coming on, which is fantastic. And it's growing at a really good pace that I like because I'm able to create relationships, and it's one after another. I mean, we got smooth jazz at night. We got a new cooking show coming on. The guy with the cooking show is great because he also owns the gondolas. He was just written up this weekend in the local paper, and him and his wife are best friends of mine. His wife has a studio with us, America's Favorite Professor. So it's very interesting. She's academic and he's a beach. I mean, he is salty as salty could be. So his cooking shows are great. He travels the world. He did a gondola project for college. He wound up turning it into a business. And we have Naples canals here. And he has gondoliers, and it is, wine and cheese, and they sing, and you go through the canals. And so he turned his love, for in college into a business. So the Newscasters studio is open to anyone that wants to bring a voice. And, it's like people say, well, what do you compare or what's your competition? I narrowed it down. YouTube. Believe it or not, we can host well over 300 channels, on what we've been designed, what we have built. And that's why now I've kept everything Virgin Real Estate, because now it's time to add the advertising. We have banners going up and good companies. I got a virgin olive oil company supporting the cooking show. Yesterday, I walked into my local Angelo's Italian, and I mean Italian market. Angelo now wants a banner on Mike O'Toole's cooking. I mean, everybody, I have just water, fresh water, and American companies are now. So putting banners on the Newscasters is quality sponsorship for quality podcasters. I knew, Donna, in building this, as you and I have done slowly and surely, one step at a time, making studios and, makeshift, Lord knows where, if you showed where you actually were, people, we could do it from anywhere. I remember your story when they were like, you can do it from home, Donna, and it changed your life. And that's what the Newscaster Studio, it is a place for us to unite voices across America that have strength, hope, and experiences, have something to share, whether it's a garden and tips on growing, which my avocado is still in the window, by the way. I put in another one. And to cooking shows, to tax guys, to listening to just music as you're doing something on our podcasting, to our tech guys, to on China. We have an array, like 100 podcasters in the network now. So now everybody's starting to mix and mingle and be on each other's shows, and and they're realizing that clips on TikTok or clips on YouTube, they're good, but they're not able to build a real community. They're building likes or followers, but that's not a community, and that's not how networks are developed.
Well, and so you don't have true freedom on a lot of those either, because, you say something that someone doesn't like and you're whacked.
Yes. Well, yeah, not only that, but you are also privy to advertising that might not be something that you want to promote. And once you link into certain ad advertisers that take over and do your advertising, they can put whatever they want wherever they want it. And a lot of people didn't mind because they just got revenue from it. But that's not how I wanted. And that's not the vision that, that the board had, which is Murray, Clint, myself. We've done this very carefully. And we've, brought ourselves to the table to hear. We each have our own platforms, which is great because we're able to bring that back. We're just not one person trying to convince a board. We're a board all doing the same thing, uniting voices. And now we've reached, another level, and that's where our banners and our advertising and, and now we're getting quality sponsors for quality podcasts. Mm-hmm. And sooner or later, people are starting to see, you can tell by the numbers that coming here, when we first started doing this, that we wanted it so somebody could get all their information off the network. If they wanted to listen to you in Alabama or follow, they can do it all from our platform. Whereas like on YouTube, you don't know what's being censored. You don't know what's being said. You got things popping up all over. This, I tried to keep a little bit more personal, a little bit more respectful of what people are trying to do. I mean, it's very interesting to have a podcast up speaking against one thing and the next thing, an advertisement for exactly what you're speaking up against pops up and you have no control over things like that. So I was all about, I love free speech, but we get to choose freedom of speech. That's the difference with the newscasters. That's
the key. And I wanted to tell you too, we just landed another advertiser, and this the Patriot Supply, mypatriotsupply.com. So
well, we can put some of their banner that you have on your show if you want. In the beginning, we can put their banner right above the show where you mention them, and then when we have a news, just like you just did. I mean, that's how we do it. We have to let people know that we are choosing, and the sponsorship is not an easy thing to do. We're not selling out. I Want America. I'm dealing now with the guy from Pure Freedom, Spring Water. I really, this is what I want to do. I want it to go throughout. I want us to support one another and to, that's what this is about. And that's the difference from YouTube. YouTube is you're up there and you keep throwing your content. The Newscasters studio, this network is built and designed to be a community of like-minded people. Mm-hmm. Let's face it, Anna, we have watched the other side shut us down, quiet us out. Look how woke this country became. Look how the borderline we were on. You and I are like the lone wolves going, hey, and every time they threw us to the wolves, we'd come back leading a new pack. And that's what you and I have done, and that's why we're here now. But it's interesting because everything we've gone through and what our president has done has brought back a softening of our heart, saying, America, I didn't give up. I'm not the only one that didn't give up. Though there was a lot going on, don't get me wrong, but we're watching people so angry that they're taking shots at our president. Not once, but twice. They're indicting him. How many times? 75? I mean, when are we going to swim?
We've got to watch AI because I saw something, it popped up on my Facebook page that did not look like President Trump. It did not look like him. But what it said was there was a third assassination attempt yesterday. But they were using an AI of President Trump, and it looked like somebody had shot him in the nose. And it wasn't him. But we've got to be smart about some of this AI stuff that's happening right now.
Well, when I went back to college, I wrote and I graduated with honors, The Human Spirit versus Artificial Intelligence. I graduated with honors. So do I know what's coming? Yeah. We can't. It is so interesting But security now also too. We also have, are you aware of Christy Hutcherson?
No.
Okay, Christy Hutcherson has been fighting Women Fighting for America. She has been on the Arizona border for the last 10 years. So her and I are friends. That's who I went to the Truth Seeker conference to cover. She has a security and logistics company. They're taking a channel. They're going up right now. Security and logistics to teach American people.
That's
all kinds
needed. That's needed.
We have a studio. Our studio is on the way. I've been studios and because what it is there are so many people. Come on, and why not? This is about uniting voices. And people, can I get on her show? Can I be that? And I'm like, let me know what you want to do. That's what we do. We promote one another. All of this started because everybody was once a guest on my show. From Clint on down. It all began because Murray Clint, they were all once guests on my show. So it's a journey to unite good, strong voices. And the thing is, I truly believe, Donna, when we walk in the spirit, right things unfold for us. But how do you walk in the spirit is the thing. And it's not about what we're seeing today is instant gratification. And that's why in my answer to you in AI, even with people writing letters and writing things, nobody's writing anything anymore. Nobody's pondering. And we're told, and you know me on scripture. It's what my degree is in, theology, interpreting it. And we are told to chew the cud, to ponder, to think things over. And when we lose that, we're jumping from A to M, but we've lost all the lessons in between and all of the knowledge, because we're meant to go through. We're not meant to have instant answers. We are meant, and that's why our colleges, and trust me, I went back, I learned more than I ever thought I learned, especially looking at college now today. I graduated in 2023. Yeah, I watched the deterioration of our academic, field 100%. I brought to light a lot, and I helped a lot of young students because you had to interact with 3 students every single day on topics that were in discussion. And it was very interesting to hear theirs, but to sit back and through the spirit to say, all right, how can I help this? First thing you want to do is fight and defend and, protect. But that's not, that's not why I was there. I was there to help another generation. And it wasn't hard for me because my child is 28, I just went through college with her. So it was nice to be a part of. And to see, I am totally convinced that there are 2 generations that have only been given one half of America's history. And therefore they do not have the critical thinking. They haven't been taught that. I do not blame our young people. Do you want to know why I don't blame them, Donna? Because when I got back from the Truth Seeker conference, I attended Charlie Kirk right here on Cal State, Long Beach. Long Beach, extremely sanctuary liberal city, okay? Do you know, I witnessed the hunger amongst our young people for a different side of the story.
They know there's something better. They know we can have another turn.
Yes, but not even that, is that they themselves as young people are not happy with the direction that their generation is going. They don't necessarily agree with everything. The whole thing for them has changed. The way they look at one another, the way they date. And we think, our generation thinks it still should be status quo. But it's not. It's not. And they had no direction and no guidance. They were thrown into the education system and indoctrinated. And now they're heading into the real world and they only have one half of the American story. So of course they're all grabbing for Bitcoin, instant success, YouTube, and doing anything they can for instant success because they don't have anything else. Why don't they want to drive? Why is Uber and delivery gotten so big? Well, I don't know. We put them in the back seat of our car, gave them a DVD, let the movies play, did everything back there, created their whole social life back there. And then we expected them to put the phone down, to put their whole lives down on social media and drive a car and focus. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, but you know something that also the backbone of all this, the whole thing that started was parents not watching what their kids were being taught in school. Back in the
100%.
In the 1990s, my son comes in and says he has to have a calculator. I almost had a heart attack. It was like when I went to school, you brought a calculator in. That was called cheating. As a matter of fact, in the 70s, I had my math teacher, Dr. Runyon, said, okay, if I catch anybody with calculator in, you're expelled.
Right.
Okay, so then
none of that. You know what? And,
okay, so Victoria, if you only had one thing, okay, so in the whole school gamut, if you only took one thing, and let's just call it math. So if you only took one thing, but you let history stay, you let English, but whatever, communications, all that, but you only wanted to corrupt one part, and it's math. That's enough to corrupt the whole country right there. Taking the math skills away is enough.
Right. But we also took something that's even more important away. We took away discipline and respect.
You betcha.
And that's the core right there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to teach them anything without discipline. We have 2 generations, people, that have no respect for anyone or anything that is not in the bubble. And it is violent. They were trained on military simulations. They are desensitized. They are angry. They are frustrated. And what have we really offered them? College with high tuition? The streets? What have we really done?
Yeah, but they're angry. They don't even know what they're angry about.
Well, that's my whole point. They don't. But they don't know what they're angry about. And that's right. Because if they would have had another side and were able to learn critical thinking from elementary school and kindergarten up now, when they're faced with the world, they would now have a choice. They're angry because you know what, Donna? When you do not have a choice and you opt out of everything, you are backed into a corner. So what you have to opt for what's in front of you. Mm-hmm. And the problem is they don't like what's in front of them. And there are those that are seeking it one way and those that are seeking it another way. The difference that I'm finding right now, what's happening is our country on a whole, financially and every way else, is making a clear cut between the haves and the have-nots. A clear cut that their generation is going to have to fight that battle that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see it.
Because the age population was expanding. I mean, people were living longer. Is that still true?
Well, I can't even go there. We are watching something happening. I am watching women literally change before my eyes. They're saying that 50 is now the new 30, but I mean physically, not in our minds when it was my generation. Now it is now physically, whatever they're having, the NBR, whatever chemicals or whatever they're doing, they are changing the body from the inside out, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how. I haven't researched it. There's a lot of other stuff on my plate. I eat good, sleep good, take good care of myself, and work out. That's it.
Well,
I don't have any.
Because we're always looking for shortcuts as an American. Most people are. Okay. So like, I don't want to exercise. I want to take a pill. I want to eat burgers and fries every single day, but take a pill. because there's got to be a pill that I can take for this, a pill that I can take for that. And I'm not seeing where the younger people are looking any younger. Now the older ones maybe that use face cream and then grow up on chemicals and all that kind of stuff are actually looking younger than the younger people are. Are you seeing that trend?
Well, the younger people, I think what's happening is they're so afraid and they call it preventative. But anything that's foreign put into the body sooner or later becomes toxic or just absorbs into the body. You know what I'm saying?
You ever see this old movie from 1940s? It was called Dorian Gray. And Dorian Gray did not want to be older. Dorian Gray was taking this little, it was some kind of a concoction of something, some weird something that Dorian Gray, well, everybody around Dorian Gray was aging, but Dorian Gray wasn't aging. But at the very end of it, when Dorian Gray died, Dorian Gray looked 200 years old instead of 70 years old.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, and that it's very interesting to think, watching around, especially being right here and long close to Hollywood and this and that. But it's changing. I have a client, Donna. Excuse me. I have a client who was always big, and she started taking the Ozempic, and she actually works for the company that goes to the doctor's office to sell it. Mm-hmm. I've watched her lose an incredible amount of weight, but she does nothing to just the only thing that's gotten smaller is her clothing. Okay. As my point, she's so very proud, and half the things she wears, are questionable as far as I'm concerned. But my point is when I asked her, well, how long are you going to do this? Are you learning to eat right? Are you learning so that when you go off of this, you're able to maintain? Because she said to me, she don't care if she stays on it for the rest of her life.
That can't be good for you. There is no way
From what I'm hearing, the side effects that take place in that long-term use of all of these things that these people are using, there is going to come a time. I don't know. I don't know. I have such a hard time with. I think if people would find from the inside and the spirit of who they are and what they are about first, then they would be able to find what works for them in life. And you get to have like a smorgasbord and what you want to choose from. Take what you need, leave the rest kind of life. But that's not what I'm finding. And in the 30 years of owning my hair salon, that's not how people think. People grab and take more than they need and waste and have and lose a part of themselves that thought process. I don't know if you're following what I'm saying, but like the momentary gratification kind of quells the thought process. So therefore, you know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting with yourself on a thought that you just had, where if you would have stayed a few moments longer sitting there, you would have had something going. But instead, you're going to get up, go get some ice cream or a piece of cake or a donut, and then well in that and turn the TV on and off you go again. So do you follow what I'm saying? Where people aren't willing to challenge their own thoughts, how can we possibly get them, to they're so busy. In 30 years, I don't want to sound confusing, but I have so many thoughts right now. In 30 years of owning my salon, I'm relating to what you said. There are so many people as I'm looking back. Did I try this diet? Oh, Victoria, have you did this? Oh, do you try that? Do you listen to this one? Do you listen to that one? It's like for the first time in my life, I'm able to look and go, everything you people are saying, no, let me tell you what I've been doing. While y'all been chasing that balloon, that nothing coming out of it is air, or you'll pop it, one or the other, you'll slowly lose. Me? No, ma'am, my balloon? No, I keep going up and up. I don't know, whatever it is, I'm going up. There's a big difference. And that's what I'm realizing. And That's why it's so important for me with you and everything that we do. I mean, I love when I see you in the store and you're like, here you are, or, doing what you're doing and constantly traffic report, because that's how we're uniting the community back together again. Something that you and I grew up in a small town. We all knew each other. I'm going back in October. I can't wait to walk in.
Question. And this, okay, now this happened a few years ago. And this is something I'm going back to younger people who don't need any face work done. Okay, so there's she's a friend of mine. She's the same age of my son. Okay. When she was 30, and I'm telling you, beautiful face. Like, I mean, her face was just, I don't know what she needed done to it. So she said, well, I'm not going to be on the show next week because I'm having some work done. Well, I'm thinking gallbladder or something like that. I'm not thinking face. She's only 30 years old. And I said, oh, surgery? And she said, yeah. And I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking gallbladder or something, hysterectomy or something like that. And she said, well, I'm going to have some work done. And I said, on your face? I mean, I'm like, what could you possibly need done to your face? And she said, well, I'm seeing little laugh lines right up here, so I've got to get that taken care of. And I said, with a microscope, maybe. I said, you don't have fine lines. And so here's a friend of mine who has to have surgery done every single year. She said, had she known this, she would have never had a facelift. And it's like every year you got to get something done. I mean, it's not something you just do one time in your entire lifetime. I begged her not to do that. I said, please don't do that. I said, because you're going to it's constantly, it will turn into you're having something done every 6 months. I mean, don't do that. Well, she doesn't even look like herself anymore. I mean, I'm talking, she had no wrinkles.
Right. No, 30 is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I'm in the industry, so I see it. And I'm like, you're doing what? Why?
That was my point. Why are you doing this? Because you need to not have anything done. You are absolutely beautiful. So then I had a sister-in-law who had gained some weight, had 2 kids, gained some weight. And so she got bypass surgery. And so one of my regular guests is a Christian psychiatrist. And so I mentioned that to him because the people that I know that have had that done, most of them make weird decisions later on after they lose the weight. I mean, it's like what's going on? So I mentioned it to him, and he said, "I'll put it to you this way." He said, "I used to get doctors calling me they wanted me to discuss this with their patients, blah 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 blah." He said, "I don't even do that anymore." He said, "It does something to their psyche." He said, when it's especially somebody who's been overweight for quite a while, and they lose a whole bunch of weight, something happens. Almost everyone end up getting a divorce.
I watch it continually. I can't even begin. Owning a hair salon for 30 years. Do you know how many women have gone from one extreme to the other? Do I think it does something? 100%. And there is something, a transition that they're not equipped to go from here to here. They don't have the tools there. You know what I'm saying? When they were big, let's face it, when somebody is big like that, they turn off a certain part of the brain. They don't look in a mirror. They don't really analyze themselves, looking naked at themselves and give a good analyzation. They turn something off. The problem is afterwards, that whatever they turned off is necessary. And there's a void. And that void then is filled with whatever is in front. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to the critical thinking aspect of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And if we don't critical think who we are,
you got to be able to, like you've been saying for 30 minutes, you've got to have a thought process. So, but another thing they don't tell them, this goes with, not only having plastic surgery, but the weight loss too, you're going to have sagging skin, especially if you've been pretty overweight. Well, they don't tell them that part. They don't tell them you're also going to have surgery under your arms, your legs, your rear, your
yeah. But the thing is if you've noticed, there's a huge rage all over regular TV for people who are couch potatoes and popcorn eaters. Okay, that's their lives, and for some people, that's what they like to do, and I could care less, really. Mm-hmm. But my point is that in that I lost where I was thinking. I don't want to really offend anybody, but what happens is a certain part of the brain gets turned off. And then that needs to be, it's part of who we are as human beings. So then it's very easily to just, take a woman that has felt that the world has made fun of her for how many years. Now she loses all this weight. To her, even though she could really lose another 75 pounds, she don't care. She gonna wear some skinny jeans and she gonna muffin top it, and she don't care because she's gonna wear that with a bathing suit top. Okay, there's something. What I'm saying is there's a void in there to most. And the point. I got my point back. My point being is that television has normalized this. My Big Fat Fabulous Life is one. 1,000-Pound Sisters is another. Now you've got 1,000-Pound Friends. These are people that are close to 600 pounds each. What I'm saying is it's in there, and then they go on this weight loss journey. But when they all do, the one thing that is common, Donna, they are all emotionally bankrupt. And unless you put some money in that bank, it's not going to be a good transition. And by all means, they probably down the road will gain it all back. Bottom line.
The Holy Bible says something about pride leads to destruction. But let's go into a commercial break, and then we're going to talk about. I want to ask you a question. What is the difference between pride cometh before destruction and just having just a little bit of pride in the way you look?
100%.
Let's go ahead and go to a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a minute.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring. But the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community
Okay,
College.
we are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. I've got another talk show host with me right now, television, radio, podcast, whatever it is, she's all over. Her name's Victoria Lee Scott, and it's always, I am so glad that you and I are friends. I'm going to tell you what, you've added a lot to my life. Just want to tell you that right there in front of their whole world, Victoria.
I'm going to tell you, there is nothing better than when I go to my phone and I see you and hear your voice. I kid you not. You know, and that's
my southern accent.
I do. And you know what? I think I'm smooth to it because, you know, my mother had a southern accent. I lost her in October. It'll be a year, but my mother had a southern accent. My mother always called me Victoria Lee. Or when she really softened up, it would be Tori Lee from Victoria. It'd be Tori Lee when she really wanted me. You know, she wanted some emotion from me. Come here, Tori Lee.
Let me mention something to you. Okay, so my daughter-in-law mentioned to me the other day, they were here, and so we were just kind of talking about the way people dress and stuff like that. And so she said at this dry cleaners, they're beginning to get more suits, dresses, stuff like that, instead of, she said she's beginning to see a trend where people are dressing up more. Are you seeing that in California?
Well, it's interesting because I just went to a wedding and I did absolutely feel that people were dressing up more. And it's because I'm a child, you know, my bartending days in Manhattan were during the disco days in the 80s. I mean, come on. I mean, the 80s, remember, I mean, you didn't go out unless everything was perfect. The hair, the dress, the shoes. I mean, you know, we got dressed up. I mean, the 80s, you didn't go out.
Everybody, and I used to watch Dynasty, but it's not because I like the show. I just like to watch the way the women were dressed, and I would try to mimic them.
I love when they met for dinner beforehand.
The pearls, I missed all of that.
I loved all that. I loved, you know, getting dressed for dinner. I mean, that's always, Lawrence was very big. That's why we actually became members of the yacht club. Lawrence loved. He put on a suit for brunch. He did. He did.
Too. Yeah, Phyllis always like that. I kind of miss going to church where you don't dress up some. You know what I mean? Because now it's all like everybody goes in Daisy Dukes or whatever. And to me, there's just some places, there's some places you just need to dress up.
I agree. And that's, you know, and that needs to come back a little bit. Because even looking yesterday, I have 15 blocks of stores here. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put my sneakers on and I'm going for a walk today. And I'm going to go check out 2nd Street. It was very interesting to see the youth. I can't knock them, Donna. I was in high school in the 70s. They dressed exactly like I'm sorry. I can't. I'm looking at the jeans. I'm looking at the pants. I'm looking at I'm looking at the total, you know, street wear on the end of the bottom of the jeans. I can't because, you know, I mean, I'm sitting here in ripped up shorts. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yesterday I'm out in shorts, but I have the worn shorts in. So I'm trying to understand more, you know, that generation. And it's funny because it seems as if there is a 1960s flow coming.
I'm seeing
you know, make love not war kind of. And then you got those we need Donald Trump business and I'm focused, you know, that. And then you got the other ones who are totally against. So we're coming around to divvying up sides. I hate to say it, but that's how I see it. I really do. And I mean, hey, look at our generation.
Well,
I mean, the generation
if I'm in a public place, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you are a Democrat, you're pretty easy to label because you probably got a mask on still.
I know. You know, and you know how I've learned, I used to be bothered by it until I looked at them and I said in my own brain, I was like, I thank you so much for not infecting me with your air. Breathe your own crap. But I look at it that they're doing it and it's actually protecting me. So thank you. But there are many people here, and I'm like, you're going to the beach in a mask? I live on the ocean. Where are you going?
Phil, this is when COVID hit. We all had to do the social distancing and all that stuff. And so Phil said, I'm going to take a picture of this one. So he was driving down the road going over a huge bridge. There was a man in a boat by himself with a mask on.
Yeah. See? I'm not making it up. I live here on the beach.
Democrat. And then the people who are driving down the road, they're still driving down the road, and no one in the car, not even a dog or a cat. They're in there, maybe a fly or butterfly or something in there, but they're by themselves, and they still got a mask on. Is that taking oxygen away from the brain?
I think so. I mean, how many times can you breathe in carbon monoxide? I mean, seriously, those masks have proven to do nothing. I mean, really, you know, I don't. I've come to the point where
I got to talk to you.
They're easier to spot now, Donna.
Oh yeah, Democrat. Used to when I was a kid, we'd go on a trip and it would be, see how many doodles, that you could find in a particular car. We call them the bugs. See how many bugs that we get.
Yeah, exactly.
Count the Democrats. Mask, Democrat, mask, Democrat, mask. I mean, it's just, please let's not do this, folks. Let's not do this. For one thing, if there's a group out there who wanted to target and kill people and they decided they wanted to kill Democrats, it'd be easy spot. You'd be the ones with a mask on.
Right.
So let's just not do that anymore, please, y'all.
No, we can't. And it's gotten, because, and I think in its own way, it kind of is good. Because it gives us a dividing line in another way. You know what I'm saying? Where we can, and as far as there are just some people, no matter what, they're never gonna change. Even if Donald Trump does the best for this country, they are never, it just doesn't matter. Okay. They are, I told you I had my first, in 30 years, I had my first Trump derangement syndrome. She left with her color on. That's how mad she was. She left with her color on.
Okay. I got to ask you a question. This is about the big, beautiful bill. Well, we've only got about 15 minutes left in this segment. So
go ahead.
What are your thoughts about the big, beautiful bill?
Well, I have it all printed out because I get everything from the White House. So I was trying to go back. There's some. But what do I really think of the big, beautiful bill? I think it was needed. There is a lot that I don't particularly care. But I think that we need, I've talked about this for a long time. Our country has been on a way to, to just let everything flow and to go with the flow kind of thought. But look where it has gotten us. Now, and then you have people that want to halt, slow down a little bit. Then you got people that want to yield, to slow down even more. But what I've realized, Donna, if we don't come to a complete and utter stop at certain things, we will never be able to turn around and begin again. And some things have to come to a complete and utter stop. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on. And I'm going to really be honest with you. There are some things, AI is confusing the heck out of people. Let's go back to that where we were. And then I'm watching, trying to grab my information and make my own, come to my own conclusions on different things. But it's so, are we ever going to really be able to bring all this and to do all this? There's so much there. And then I've got scripture on the other hand. and I'll tell you, my biggest fear is the destruction of the American dollar. I mean, that's probably, and somehow it just feels like that whole digital thing, that everything that's going on. I mean, there are now machines, Donna, that you put your cash in and get a card out. So now you can use that in the store. They won't take your cash, but outside you can put your cash in for digital currency now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, but let me tell you, I think it depends on the region you're in, because the region we are in right now, okay, you go to a restaurant and you use your card, they're going to charge you an extra 5-10% more for using the card. However, you pay cash and you're done. There's no extra. So that's the way it is right here in South Carolina.
And that's the way that it should be. But what I'm saying is it's similar to everything else, just like going back to the beginning of this conversation. They're not looking for that mayor to change America in one big slab. No, they're perfectionists. They chip it away. It will be very soon at an amusement park right now. It's all digital. You can't bring cash into any of the parks. It's all digital currency. So I know South Carolina doesn't see, because, let's face it, they're fighters for the American way, all right? The South won't be their first rodeo, okay? But it also is very scary when they want to change you the lengths that this country is able to go. Look at Texas right now. You want to change a country? You can change a country. You can change it. You can change a state if you want to. I don't know.
Change a town. Okay, so the town we were living in Alabama, we were living in a little town. So the next town up is the one who was welcoming all of the Haitians and whatever in. And I believe the city council and the mayor, they were all in real estate. I think they were all double dipping. I think that this town got money because they were housing folks and giving them everything free. But I also think there was a little bit of money in the till for the people who were on the board and also the mayor. I just really believe that. Well, now a study came out where this little town is like above the national average in crime. I wonder why. And this is another thing I'm noticing. The mayor is running for re-election. And this is what I'm noticing as well. So you go to his Facebook page, you're only seeing the good comments. You're not seeing any bad comments. You'll see that he posts something and 1,000 people have looked at it, but then only 2 or 3 comments. Come on. And the only comments that you have are the good ones. That's the people who are deranged and think he's doing a great job.
Of course. Well, that's why the Newscasters Studio is a social media podcasting network. We have to fight back somewhere. And that's what you and I and everybody else in this, in this network does, and it's crazy, we've got this big bill now that's going to change a lot of the things. Truthfully, I think that cutting the waste, fraud and abuse. I'm sorry, but you know what? I have no sympathy. I had a video that was put up, and the woman is screaming as I guess her husband is being taken away. ICE is taken away. She's screaming. He's been here for 30 years and screaming. And I never comment, but yesterday I had to, as she's screaming bloody murder that he's been here for 30 years and he this and that. And all I said was he had 30 years to become a legal citizen. I have no sympathy. You had 30 years to become a legal citizen. I don't give a crap. I'm sorry. I'm over it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to sit here now and go, well, this guy came in at Obama on the last leg, and this guy came in 20 years ago, and this guy. No, you're all under one banner. Illegal. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but I'm watching my child in a healthcare system because it's so overrun with people. Okay. No. It's broken. You're not kidding. My child's been waiting for a kidney for over 20 years. Please don't tell me. I know the healthcare system. It's broken, all of it. And now what they've done, I'm telling you, I have been banging on this desk since 2004, as I said in the beginning, because we have destroyed this country at the mayoral level. And now I'm telling you, my big fear is when they shut down the power grid, because angry America, you know where they're going? To their mayoral streets. And you want to know something? There's no more respect for authority. They're not able, the city, the mayoral level has been corrupted with people and their families for wrong reasons, for DEI. These people who are running our towns across this country at the mayoral level are not capable to maintain those positions. And I stand firm on this. I've watched the destruction at this level. And that's exactly what they wanted. They didn't go for the bid. No, you chip away. So then you cut people's power grid and they got nothing to do. They're heading to the streets. And the only way things are going to change, you have pushed the envelope, America, is civil unrest. And the only way that our government is going to change is by public opinion. And how does the public get their opinion out? Civil unrest in the streets at the mayoral level.
And it'll make Ferguson look like a walk in the park. So let me mention this to you. Okay, so when we were living in Alabama, the little small town where we're in, you know, your mayor's supposed to take care of your town. Your police force should be taking care of your town. They really should be. But what we found on the 38 acres we were living on, Phil and I were just taking a little stroll back behind the pond. Somebody started a meth lab. Okay, on our land. I got the pictures. I need to send them to you. I kept the pictures. So, okay, so I'm walking by and I'm like, bleach bottles down here? Come on. What's going on here? So we call the police. The police gets down there and he's trying to make it sound as if the cows brought the cows. And I'm going, yeah, cows like
yeah, those are toys.
Come on. So they didn't want to do anything about it. Well, I just went above them and I went to the sheriff's department. Well, I started getting a little more activity done. Point being is, as you say, you're for the citizens who voted you in. It looks to me like they're more for the people who did not vote them in, the illegals. But you want to be voted back in again as mayor and city council? Really? Well, then you might want to take care of the people who voted you in to begin with. That's right. Thing. Here's a book right here. Everybody needs to read this book. A friend of mine, Ron, wrote this. It's called The Longest Walk. This is what will happen to the country when the grid goes. Okay, when you got total chaos. Now this is something. This is actually in Atlanta traffic. This picture right here is it. So you need to find this book. It's Ron Foster. And you can find it on Amazon. You can just type his name in, Google it, whatever you need to do, and you'll find it.
Did you say his last name was?
Foster, Foster. So it's my friend Ron Foster. Now, he also lives off the land.
Oh.
This guy is probably, other than my husband, this guy's one of the smartest men I know. Okay, this guy knows how to survive. He's giving us gardening techniques. It's not even funny, but he's on the show once a month. He needs to be on the podcast. He really needs to be on the Newscasters. He needs to do that. So somehow I got to get you guys together. Okay.
100%, Donna.
Let me show you. Yeah. He has written this book as well, Old Fart Survival Guide.
I love it.
The Book Out Gardening Guide. Diary of a Kudzu Salesman. For wayward preppers. Apocalyptic apothecary. So, and then he's written, these are just the ones I have. I'm talking about, I'm tired of hearing, well, it's the guy who's sitting in the tower on Fifth Avenue, New York, who can tell us what to do. No, actually, it's this dude right here that can tell us what to do in case the grid goes down. There are so many techniques. You know that there are things that are considered weeds that are not weeds. Okay, so I was cooking, and so I had a splatter, and right here on this finger right here, I can't even get a ring on that finger. So I had this big, huge blister that came on my finger. Okay, I put my comfrey oil on here. My
Right.
salve that I make, I put that on there. The comfrey, if you can only have one herb, it needs to be comfrey.
That's right.
Now, there was a blister sticking way up on my finger,
I'll bet.
and it's gone. There are so many medicinal plants that are out there. You do not have to
No.
pharma. It's nothing but a hoax. And there's
100.
side effects to all of these pills are trying to push on people. It's unreal. You need
Well, you know what?
need to meet an herbalist and become friends with them.
100%. I had Dr. Sherry Tenpenny on. She has a book, Zero Accountability, How Big Pharma Weaponized Public Health, the vaccine, and the law. And
Yep.
she was a very interesting, and, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming. You know, that vaccine was timed 3 to 5 years. And unfortunately, we're going to start seeing people's health.
People are having less kids now because now they can't have kids because they took too many shots. You've got young people who are dying of heart attacks that look healthy, but they're not.
Yeah. And not only that, I have, like I said, 30 years of owning my business. And I have clients that today admit that I was right, that they were wrong, and they have never felt the same ever since. They have never felt the same. And it's like, how could one thing work for everybody? Are you people kidding me? Not happening here. So
well, one thing, if they've not found the cure, which I think they have, but if they claim they have not found the cure for cancer, how could they have possibly just fumbled up on this little vaccine? There wasn't enough time.
absolutely not. Everything has been planned, as we know. That's another whole show. Those doing the planning, you know, and what is to come. There's a lot. I worry about August and September for some reason. I just think it is such a perfect time for heat waves and flood and have, you know, power outages and grids go down. I mean, and it's hot and people, you know what I'm saying? Without air conditioning, it's not going to be a pretty country. It really isn't.
Yeah, but you know something, we've gotten fat and lazy. We've gotten, because I remember a kid, we didn't have air conditioning. We would stay out, and this is not the first time it's ever been this hot. It was this hot when I was a kid growing up too, because we grew up in the South and it was smoldering hot, but it didn't bother us. As a matter of fact, it was cooler to be outside than it was in the house because we had no central heating and air back in those days. So all we had was window fans. We had fans, and that was basically all we had. So we've gotten lazy, and it's going to hurt. It's going to cripple us as a country. Now, if you're a survivalist, we'll be okay. You're going to be okay, Victoria. We'll be okay. But it's
100. I've been storing for quite a while. I'm not, you know, we just have to, like, it goes back to taking care of yourself first, and then you can help those around you. Bottom line. But if something happens, I know that I have water for people. I mean, I'm not that I'm giving all mine away, don't get me wrong. But if something does, I can go out there with 6 bottles at least and you know, and help, or, you know, food, whatever I have, because I have learned that I'm going to be okay. And that's what we're not showing people, how to take care of themselves first.
Well, another thing is too, is if a situation arrives, and it comes out of this book right here, if a situation arrives, and it does, when you have panic in your system and you're just going crazy, that's killing you. I mean, that's going to kill you before starving to death does. Okay, we've got to call it a day. Victoria, my goodness, we never have enough time. Okay,
Never.
Call it a day. Thank you guys so much for watching. And the reason I know you watch is because we have Victoria Lee Scott on the show. I know you do. Continue sending Donna at Donna'sEdge.com. That's Donna at Donna'sEdge.com. And I'm telling you, you make my day. When I see those emails pop up, it just makes me feel so good. It really Continue doing that. Victoria, hang around. I got to get you set up for next month, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.